Ways of attraction to my magazine consist of the image on the front, the colour scheme, and other general iconography, in my opinion. The magazine's masthead was originally black and vertical, however this wasn't quite eye-catching enough, so the masthead position was changed. The masthead font stayed the same, as it was clear to read, but didn't stand out enough. So, after looking at other magazines' mastheads, like NME and Q, I created another layer and made it white and placed it over the black masthead to create a shadowed effect, with the intention that the masthead would stand out and look interesting. I decided to alternate the colours of headings and taglines between white, black and burgundy to keep the magazine flavourous and so that the text would stand out against the bland background and the green shirt. The name of the band, Candid, was placed parallel to the masthead to give the page a border effect and to nicely frame the photo. The colour of Candid was white as well, so that it stood out against the green shirt and that it was clear to the reader who the person on the cover was. The colour scheme I decided to go with was an autumnal one, which acquired the most votes when asked in a survey, which meant that the colour scheme would include a rich colour like burgundy. Luckily, I found a burgundy bandana which the model wore, and I then used the same colour as the material to colour some of the text, keeping a consistent theme throughout the magazine. Along with the burgundy, I used black and white so that the colours stood out and that they all complemented each other. I felt like too much colour other than one distinct colour would have made the magazine look too busy because of the masses of text. Also, other magazines like Clash, Q and NME have one colour against black and white, so I kept the convention with my own magazine. I feel the images in a magazine are important to attract an audience because it's what the eye is originally drawn to. I decided to use a long mid-shot on my cover, which is just past the hips, to keep in the model's arm, which adds interest to the image and also follows the conventions of other magazines, like the NME one. I felt like close-ups work better on the cover when the artist is a single artist because it shows a personal element of the musician because the camera is close to their face. Throughout my magazine, I changed the shot distances around and included close-ups of the band on the double-page spread to keep interest with the text on the page. I also changed the mise-en-scène throughout the photos to keep the images interesting. The photo of the band Domino was taken in an exterior setting with a rundown background to add to their image. I originally wanted my cover photo to have my model looking to the side, however, I felt the magazine would be more attractable with the model giving eye contact, so I changed the position of the model so that the image would work better. I felt that the model's hair was a unique selling point for the magazine, which is one of the reasons I chose him to model. Also, the fact that it was a single member on the cover shows confidence in the person and draws people to the magazine. In my article, I addressed the audience with a more informal way than formal. For example, the wait was definitely worth it, and included elements of speech from the band so that the article had a friendly tone to it as opposed to a strictly interrogative view. I felt that this was the most appropriate way to write because the age range is old enough to be satisfied with more writing than pictures and will most likely carry on reading the article if it has a flair to it. I decided to intertwine the interview in the main body of the text so that the article was less broken to read, for example, if the content was just a question and answer. I included things like, according to Nick, Louis' voice was one that stood out from the crowd during the summer eve and the couple introduced themselves after his set. A Q&A type game was included in case the writing needed filling out. I was originally going to include one page of text, which is shown in my draft, but to work around the placement of images and for a better graphology aesthetic to further attract the audience, I did around 1 3/4 of writing so that the article was then spread out more.